Hi, and welcome to another interview of Creating a Life that Nourishes Body and Soul. We're glad that you're here with us and hope that this is another valuable time spent for you. Today, we're talking with Mary Scott, all the way from Australia. So she's got the beautiful summer in her background and summer in her country where she is. Has over 30 years of experience as a transformative confidence coach, entrepreneur, and published author dedicated to empowering women over 50 to reclaim their confidence and embrace their next chapter. Blending her background of nursing and psychotherapy with real-world experience, Mary transitioned from a 20-year nursing career to founding a thriving psychotherapy private practice in Melbourne, Australia. Today, she leads a global movement offering one-on-one coaching and exclusive online communities where women rise together with purpose and unlock their full potential. An engaging storyteller and sought-after speaker, Mary has received prestigious honors, including the GIFEW Global Evolutionary Woman Award and the Global Supermind Award in 2024. Recently, she shared her insights at not her insides, her insights at Generational Women Australia, inspiring audiences with her talk on the best mistakes. I love that title, by the way, Mary. The lessons learned from life's unexpected turns. Mary is committed to helping women step into leadership on their own terms, embracing their wisdom, resilience, and authenticity to create a life of impact and fulfillment. Thank you so much for being here with us, Mary. I just
Thank
have
you.
loved talking to Mary, and I know that you'll love talking with her too. So thanks for being here.
You're welcome. It's a privilege to share the space with you, Tracy. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. So, Mary, tell us a little bit about your story and how you came to be doing what you're doing, because you have such an interesting background between the nursing and the psychotherapy to then basically starting another career.
I was saying to someone today, I'm allergic to recliners. They were like, what? Like, well, I'll leave you to have fun with that, or at least your audience as well. But, you know, nursing was, back then when I did nursing, which was a long time ago, they said nurses were born, and they said I was one of those. And I just adored it. I had a lovely time. However, underneath all that, I had a huge desire for personal development, and I figured there must be more to life than what I was experiencing, which led me to moving from New Zealand to Australia, studying as a psychotherapist, firstly as a somatic psychotherapist, so the body orientated, then going on to study a diploma of Gestalt and a whole lot of other things. When we start these training and education, Tracy, you really get the thirst for it, and you just keep building. You put more building blocks in. And so, I don't know, quite a few years on, I use all that experience in my coaching business. And, I call myself a confidence coach, but they do say once a therapist, always a therapist. So my psychotherapy sneaks in here. But what led me to this point in my life right now, and why am I doing it? I believe that women need to take a stronger role in leadership. And I think that women need a cheer squad. Women need the support to step up. I have the Rise Up movement. That's what I am working towards, rising up. And I think there's still so many women that we haven't seen yet. Maybe they're in the shadows, maybe they're at home, maybe they're in corporate life, feeling unworthy, feeling like they're not respected or paid enough, all of those that we need to encourage out and to rise up. And that's going to be my mission probably till I die, I suspect, because I think that there's so many wonderful women that have so much to contribute. We've hardly touched the surface. And always in my life, my purpose has been to do some good in the world, make a difference. And honestly, back when I was young, I was teaching swimming at 12. Nothing much has changed. I just look a bit different.
I 100% agree and so appreciate that. There's the same Same sentiments underneath the reason that I do what I do. So thank you. And specifically, um, you're, thriving over 50 is what you're passionate about. So why particularly that age group?
Well, when I was in my 50s, I had some big adversities. I went bankrupt. I stressed myself out. I was just absolutely rock bottom. I worked too hard. I love to work and I have a passion for work, but sometimes it sends me the other end of the radar,
Mm,
and that's not good.
mhm.
And so I had a disruption in my where I lived. I had a disruption with my finances. I had a disruption within myself. And I thought, I can't be alone with this. I think that 50 is a pivotal time in our lives where some people are looking towards retirement, in the coming years, and they start planning. But for me, I was like, wow, there's so many more adventures to have. And I thought, I wonder if I can wake up, or let's be more respectful, just tap on the shoulders of a few more women to say, look, we got many adventures to have yet. Let's come and join us and do it.
That perspective is amazing. And it is such a whole mindset of, okay, well, we're winding down and kind of coming into quiet years, and it's time to slow down, and it's time to, and that's kind of a traditional cultural thing. And I think there's this real kind of movement of, is that what we really want? Do we, is it time to slow down, or is it time to start a new chapter and see what there is left to do? So I love that perspective and can't get enough of that kind of attitude.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, what are some things that you think are challenges particular to this that you had that women face, that you found with clients and with women that you've worked with? Particular challenges, or maybe their own kind of thinking that's holding them back and keeping them smaller than they need to be.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I think, am I enough?
Mm,
Am I actually enough?
mm.
And then you add something like, am I worthy enough? So things like, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. Oh, what? You want me to put my photo there? What? And, when you think back to Louise Hay days when she wrote her first books, people thought, what's this woman on about? She wants us to look in the mirror and talk to ourselves. And it was so confronting. And you know what? I still suggest people do that. Look at yourself, deepen your awareness, because if I'm not worthy and I'm not enough, if I actually believe that, that totally disables me, takes me out of the game, not only in my life, but if I'm going to start looking at a business, I can't possibly be out there and be successful if I believe deep in my heart that I'm not worthy enough. And I
Mhm,
find that very sad, for one,
mhm,
because a lot of that is based on knowledge from the past, and we pick it up from there and we put it there, and then we look through the past to make decisions about now.
mhm,
And I think that distorts it, it contaminates it. And, once the unveiling starts to happen, oh my gosh, there's some magnificent women out there starting to shine their light.
mhm.
And when they can come from, I'm not worthy, or I don't, like, I don't really think I'm enough, to shining their light brightly. How exciting is that? I love it. That's why I
Yeah,
love my business.
yeah. Are you familiar with Jamie Kern Lima?
No, I'm not.
Okay. She has her most recent book is called Worthy. And this is a woman who I love her story because she started it's called It Cosmetics, and she started it literally from her front room with nothing, almost went bankrupt doing it. And she ended up selling it to one of the major companies, L'Oreal, maybe, I can't remember which one, for over $1 billion. And so here she is, this incredible, her first book is about that, which is also a great book called Believe It. But her second book is Worthy. And in it, she talks about, and it's like not a story that a lot of us can relate to because she met Oprah, and it's like, okay, how many are going to have that experience? But I love it because, like, even somebody like her who really created this business from nothing ends up selling it for $1 billion. And then she talks about how in that time when that was happening, she had an interview, I think, with Oprah, and Oprah at the end of the interview was like, gave her personal phone number and said, girl, you call me anytime. And it took her and she had basically was raised watching the Oprah show every day. She loved Oprah. Oprah was one of her idols. And she meets her, Oprah gives her phone number. It took her 4 years to call her. And she realized that why it took her 4 years to call her. I mean, here she is. She is like the epitome of success. And yet she couldn't call Oprah because she didn't feel like she was worthy to be, to share the space with her. And so then she went on to whole, after that realization, she's like, oh my gosh, you think of a woman like that with all that success can still struggle with that worthiness and that self-worth issue.
Mm.
That's, I mean, it just is so powerful the way that she talks about that. And the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. It's really powerful stuff that's just right on the money with the things that you're talking about as far as when we're struggling with that am I enough and that self-worth, it just impacts everything. So yeah, to be able to work in the space to help women to get past that. So then the question is, if somebody is feeling unworthy, if somebody is feeling like they're not enough, where can they start to come out of that?
Well, I think that the starting point is small steps
Mm-hmm.
and some strategies. And when you think about worth and am I enough, some of that's about confidence as well. It's kind of underpinning it. And so then we work on small tasks, small steps, celebrate, small steps, celebrate. And when you think about it, as kids, how do we learn things? Little babies, they go, boop, down they go, they get back up, they pull themselves up, they go again, boop, down, up, and we forgot. We forget
Mm-hmm.
about that. It's like,
Yes.
and so I think that it's good to remind people that small repetitive acts create greatness. And why not?
I've got to share something with you while we're talking about this. This is just a dumb little thing that I do. Um, and whenever
Why
I
would
do
it be a
something, no matter
dumb
how
little
small,
thing? Let me take you to task about that. Why would it be a dumb little thing? It must be kind of
it's,
cool.
it's a little thing. It's like
Excellent.
these poppers that are, I don't know if you've seen these before.
I
These are
love
like,
them. Yeah.
and so I have a stash of them. And whenever it's like, that was kind of hard, but I got all of my newsletters ready for the whole month. And I'll pull one of these out and I'll pop it. It's like, yay me. That's my little celebration. So that, yeah, the little baby steps, it's like, it might not seem like much to, get some newsletters written or whatever you're doing, whatever your small step is, but to celebrate that and go, okay, acknowledging that was a little uncomfortable for me, but I did it anyway. Or that was a little bit of a struggle for me to try to fit that in with everything else, but I still did it, whether it's um I had a crazy day, but I actually took 5 minutes at the end of the day to meditate, or I took 15 minutes to go for a walk. Yay, celebrate that. Because, yeah, all of those added up together makes so much difference.
Oh, absolutely. And I think because we're in such a fast-paced society, we're going for that goal, that goal, that goal, that goal, that goal.
Mm,
Made it. That goal, that goal, that goal. Like it's just crazy. And
mhm.
um, it's always going to be the simple things. It's always going to be this simple, small steps that'll make the difference. There is a few unicorn people, there's unicorn companies, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the tortoise did win the race.
Yep.
So
Yep.
let's not get too carried away about highly technical stuff. There's a technical word, stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just make it simple, make it easy to do, very simple strategies. Follow this path, And guess what'll happen? You'll pop out the other end just like the little popper, be able to celebrate you. Why not?
So in taking these baby steps and these small steps, I think I think that's just kind of a personal thing depending on what somebody's struggling with. Do you find that there are kind of steps that are a good place to start in general for a lot of people? Or is it just something that's very personal and those are going to be different for everybody?
I think it's different for everyone. And to follow on from that worthy and am I enough, the other big factor that comes into it is how big our inner critics are.
Mm,
And that's across the board. That's not uniquely different to you, me, and, someone
hmm.
else. And I wrote an ebook about that. I think I've given that to you, actually. Uh, Inner critic to inner cheer squad. And because if you're all the time growing up with that talk, that voice, you believe it. You start repeating it like it's your own. And mostly it never is, Tracy. It usually
Hmm.
belongs to another. Someone
Hmm.
might have said it to you a few times. So I think that to really grasp that maybe in here I have this capacity to have inner greatness. Maybe I don't feel it, I don't have a real concept of it, but there's just an inkling. With the right support, the right coach, the right therapist, the right group, whatever it is for you, I think then the possibilities are absolutely endless.
And I think it's interesting to me too, as you're talking, I think about, um, well, like fairy tales. Many of us were raised on fairy tales. And we think, we believe that for while, but then we think, oh, when we grow up, we have to realize that, fairy tales aren't real. And we have to be more reasonable. And so we kind of take out, we train ourselves to not believe in that big happy ending. And maybe life isn't as simple as a lot of fairy tales are, but it really, that happy ending, just that belief that that can be, I think
Yes,
is trained out of us a lot, and we train it out of ourselves.
I think we override ourselves. I think
Mhm.
that culturally speaking, it doesn't matter where you live, there's pressures to be
Mhm.
this, be that. And I meet a lot of people that are not actually sure if they're that or this. And this person in here is screaming to get out. This unique person
Mhm.
born with love in their heart and kindness and compassion. They just sometimes want to be released from their own shackles, if you like. And some of that's through the narrative, but some of it's because people do have hard lives, sure.
Mhm.
And then I think to move the narrative to a more positive perspective, I think that takes help. Unless you're extraordinary, takes a little bit of help and guidance
Mhm.
to achieve that. But I think it's achievable.
So, and you kind of mentioned this before, but if somebody's feeling like that and wanting to kind of reclaim the belief in the happy ending, the belief in the good things, uh, what are some sources? What are some resources where they could turn to start building that? To start, first of all, noticing that inner critic, and then to counteract it. Where can people turn for that?
I think one of the first things you can do is get a book, a simple book, nothing that's elaborate. Draw a line down the center. Write all your critical thoughts on the left and start writing some positive thoughts on the right. And keep it close to you. So when you have that thought, you can go in here, you can write it, you can change it. This is how I changed my thinking from who do you think you are? You're never going to be able to do anything. To I can do anything I like. I can make a difference. And I did this. It's tedious. But, I think it's a very worthwhile thing to do. Plus, the kicker, if you like, you might say, Mary, I think your content's awesome. So I get my book out, and on the right-hand side, I say, Tracy Astle said to me that my content was awesome, right? So on the right-hand side of the page, I am collecting information that is real and relative to me. So when I have a bad day, I get my book and I read that right-hand column. And because I have people like yourself, like my friend, like someone in a shop that says, gosh, you're a kind person to do that. And I've got dates and people that are not me, it's very hard to discount it. Now, that sounds like a lot, but you can see how over time you form your thinking. You rewrite the videos, you rewrite the soundtracks. So resources, you can create all this yourself. You don't need to go and look at a book. You can if you want to. There's some great books around about inner critic. Some people that I studied with a long time ago, Dr. Hal and Sidra Stone, they wrote a book about inner critic. They talked about the different selves that we have. And it was very powerful for me because I really took ownership. Oh, yeah, I do have an inner critic. I'm going to change that. And they changed a lot of people's perspective forward. And I was fortunate. They came out from the US to Australia, and I was very fortunate to work with them live. And their books are still out there. They're good value if you want, specific resources. I'm sure there's other things, but I think a $2 book and a pen's easy if you're absolutely determined to change things.
And I think too, it's recognizing that when we're starting to do this, if this is something, okay, this is something I want to change, it's hard to write down those things and think, oh my gosh, I really thought that about myself. I really think that I really said that to myself. It's hard to see that and to really own that that's what we're doing. And it's difficult. I love that you suggested that you take and write down what the positive things you've gotten from other people, because when we're first in that mess there, it's hard for us to see the good things of ourselves. And so we can start with writing and recording and noticing what other people are saying, and write that down. And as we do that, we find the shift of the things that we're the things unkind things we're thinking and saying to ourselves get fewer and fewer. And we can start putting things on the positive side. We can start noticing and owning for ourselves the positive things. And so more of the positive stuff starts to come from us, and we're not as reliant on the positive from other people. But it's important to start with the positive from other people, because often when we're first starting this, we can't see that about ourselves. As a psychotherapist, I'm sure you have many stories of people who, how we just do this to ourselves. It's like we can hear 100 good things. Oh, you did a great job. 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 Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One person go, man, I've heard you do better. And what are we going to remember? Oh my gosh, I have done better. What did I do differently this time? And that's what we're going to hone in on. That's what we're going to focus on. So noticing and accepting the positive, I think, is really a powerful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you're saying is a key point. We might have 10 wonderful things said about us and one thing that just grates, that's like, ugh. And what do? We take that one thing that great and we take that into the next day. Oh my goodness, how easy is that? Whereas we've got these 10 nourishing, flourishing things that we can stay with, and we push it over there. So I think if you have reminders, that's why I like the book. And I also like to be able to write with a pen. It's better communication between our brain, other than typing. So yes, lovely.
So practical takeaways for women in particular who are looking to thrive beyond 50, to really embrace confidence and fulfillment. Tips for that.
The first thing I want to say is find yourself a cheer squad. Find yourself a circle of influence. that you know if you're going down the slippery slope, you can call, let's just say 5. They say the magic number's 5 and your circle of influence. You know, you chair, like my long-term coaching group, that's a massive cheer squad for each and every one that is in that group. Now, if you're someone, especially if you work from home, oh, excuse me, there's isolation issues.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get the cheer squad. If you're someone that stays at home, you need to get the cheer squad. I think that's the first tip. The second tip is start finding someone who can support you on your journey. So not like a lot of people, one person that you can trust, like you, me, other people. I think let's start the movement forward.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's back to what I was saying before. It's the simple things, isn't it? Even if you did those 2 things, life would be different.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mary, you have a free gift for everyone who's registered. And then you want to tell us a little bit about that. And then you also have an offer for the people who've purchased the VIP package. You want to tell us a little bit about what you've got, gifts that you have for those who are listening?
Absolutely. I have what I spoke about before, the ebook about inner critic to inner cheer squad. And these are real practical tips. If you wake up at, I call it the witching hour, lying in bed looking at the ceiling, I'm so terrible, wish I hadn't done that. Oh, I need to sort out those finances. Oh my goodness, it goes on and on. I've got some real practical tips in there. Journaling, do a foot bath, get out of bed, don't stay there, get out, you know, rub your feet with lavender. There's a whole lot of really practical tips in there. Once again, simplicity is key.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people come back to me saying, my goodness, I haven't slept that well in 20 years. I said, oh, what did you do? Oh, I got some essential oils, lavender. I got out of bed, went in, sat on a chair and rubbed my feet with lavender. And you know, when you do that, takes the energy from here to your feet. You're not, the thing is when you're lying in bed, what are you doing? You're ruminating. The cogs are turning. So that's my first gift. And, you know, I wrote that some time ago, but there's so much power in that. It's my favorite because I had a very strong inner critic. I've turned it into an inner cheer squad. So I believe with someone like me who left school very early, in fact, didn't finish schooling, I know it's going to be a great tool for anyone. Now, if you join or have joined the VIP package, and good for you, incidentally, that says something about your commitment to yourself and your worthiness. So I've included a couple of more ebooks about business, little strategies that, now these are not big books, they're very simple ebooks. You can sit on your phone and go through it. Now, you can do that, but this is my, what's the word? My ask, my request. That's a better word. Implement the strategies. Don't just read them and go, oh, that's a nice idea. Because everyone that Tracy has on here that have contributed, that are giving gifts, give them for you to implement. They're not there for pretty little bits of paper for you to read and go, oh, that's a nice idea. Implementation is so important because when you implement something, you integrate it. And when you integrate it, it becomes part of you and how you live your life. So there you have it, Tracy.
Wonderful. Thank you. And so my favorite question to end up our time together today is, so what do you feel, what have you found are your top 1, 2, or 3 ideas, beliefs, practices that are an integral part of creating a life that nourishes you body and soul?
Oh, I love this question. I think the first one is to discover your life purpose, your soul purpose, the meaning to your life. Why are you here? And there's so many things around. There's ikigai, the Japanese art. If you want to explore that, that's a beautiful way to create your life purpose. If you're,
Mhm.
I don't know how to do it, but you have to have purpose. If you don't have a reason to get up and put your feet on the floor every morning, that means life's pretty tough.
Mhm.
I think that you have to wake up with having an intention for the day. I sit here, this is my office. I sit and I say, what is your intention? What is your intention today? And I sit and then I just write what my intention is. And it puts me on the front foot. It puts my mind to where and see, intention is part of purpose.
Mhm.
So it's just another sneaky way of tapping into purpose every day, if you like. So what's your intention? The third one is, I think you have to take time every day to reflect. I think silence is important. Take time for you. Take time to go and sit quietly, pray, meditate, whatever it is that you want to do, but have some time with yourself. Because unfortunately, it's my experience, no matter where you go, there's music, there's noise, there's disruptions. You can't even go to the dentist or the doctor without a television, a video, a noise. And I think that our soul needs solitude. Our
Mhm.
brain certainly needs it, and our whole body welcomes it. So there's three, well, I think they're pretty powerful tips. I hope you find them useful.
Yes, thank you so much. So, Mary, if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me in LinkedIn. Tracy will give you those links. You can find me
Mhm.
in Facebook. I have lots of good content on both those platforms. I've got a website. That's interesting, isn't it? Website, maryscottinfluence.com. But if you go to those social platforms, and Tracy will give you the details, you can direct message me. I love to talk to people. We can have a call. We can be on the phone. It can be on Zoom, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I'm here to make a difference. And if you're one of those people that are looking to make a difference, do contact me and let's have some meaningful conversations.
Thank you so much, Mary. It's just a delight to talk to you. And if everyone has enjoyed talking to Mary as much as I have, you will have the information how to get a hold of her, and you can have your own delightful conversation with Mary. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And remember, those of you who are listening, to create a life that really nourishes your body and soul. You don't need to live a life of discouragement or feeling depleted. There's your happy ending available, and it comes through creating that kind of life. We'll see you again soon with another interview.